All right, everybody, welcome back to more Star Wars The Clone Wars Season 7 reviews. This is the last episode in the Trace Rafa arc, I'm pretty sure. So if you weren't a big fan of that, you're going to be excited. I'm excited already. I'm still excited. I think this will lead into the first episode of the Mandalore arc. If not, then it'll be like maybe one episode in between the beginning, just because that's what shows do sometimes. Sort of like a get ready before you have to save for the end of the game mission. Yeah. So, all jokes aside, if this is another action episode, it's got I'd say a little less than before. A little. I'd say a little less action than the last episode, but it's still a more actiony episode. So, what happens is, they get captured from trying to escape again on Obadiah, and they get put back in their cell, and they start trying to come up with a plan. And Ahsoka's plan, well, she tells them her plan is something they are better off just not knowing what the fuck it is, but she has a plan. She pulled that straight up Dutch, I have a plan. But she didn't tell them what it was, just like Dutch. But in this case, it makes sense because she intends on using her Jedi abilities, and she still has not told them yet. So they meet with I am unsure what the title for the leader of the Pike Syndicate is, but they meet with the leader of the Pike Syndicate. And Ahsoka basically takes control of the conversation, and she tells him, like, hey, they hid it somewhere off planet. I don't know where it is. They'll go get it, give them, like, a rotation or two, and if they don't come back, you can kill me. And I can tell you where their family is, so you can kill their family. If you've been paying attention, they don't have a family. So she's been trying to get them the fuck out of there. And it seems like the only one, like, I understand how, like, younger characters can be a little bit naive, but I don't see how it didn't click in their, at least in Trace's head. Rafa figured it out almost immediately, that she was just trying to get them the fuck off the planet, because they're not equipped. They handled themselves well throughout most of the Pike Syndicate related stuff, but they're not the most equipped to deal with it, and they really didn't know what they were getting themselves into in the first place. So she figured she'd be better to deal with it on her own, and she does fairly well. And matter of fact, she basically does escape again, this time using the Force in her Jedi training, and is almost, she sets bombs all over the spice factory, and she basically is almost out. If it wasn't for a conversation she overheard between the leader of the Pike Syndicate, and you guessed it, Darth Maul. And I'm pretty sure she can tell they're fucking terrified of him. Because why wouldn't you be? Maul's a Zabrak. Their culture is to be extremely aggressive, single-minded, and if you cross them, you will die. Unless you're a Jedi, of course, but, culturally wise, that's how they are. Maul is a Sith with that mindset. You're going to die if you fuck up one too many times. So they're terrified of him. She notices this, and she tries to figure out where the call came from. She figures this out. Mandalore, obviously. And so in the process of doing that, she gets captured again. Now, meanwhile, while she's escaping, Trace and Rafa, like, basically explain to the audience who didn't figure it out that Ahsoka was just trying to get them out of there, and that Rafa intended to go help her. She says it so she isn't able to hold it over her head for the rest of her life, but we all know it's because, like, Rafa might be starting to like Ahsoka a little bit, and the dynamic between all three of them has grown to be a lot more friendly and less hostile. But all of them, they attempt to steal some spice from the Pikes, which they didn't learn their lesson the first time, and bring it back to the palace. But that doesn't work, and they all get captured again. Ahsoka only got captured because she was snooping around, which, makes sense, more sense than, stealing spice from the Pikes again. But they all get captured again. The Pikes figured it out the moment they started fighting her that she used to be a Jedi, and so in the Pike leader's little interrogation / I'm gonna gloat after I kill you, or before I kill you kind of spiel, he just kind of lets it out, and Rafa and Trace, fucking call her Pike, Rafa and Trace are unsettled by it. I wouldn't say straight up angry, cause there was at first like, why didn't you tell us? How could you? All that type of shit. But it seems like for a moment they kind of understand why, because especially that she figured out they hated Jedi. There's this funny moment like in between where after the Pike leader says she was a Jedi, she says she was, and she's like, what? And I forget whether it's Rafa or Trace. They're kind of like, what are you talking about? And Ahsoka's like, I left. And in unison, Trace and Rafa are like, you can do that? I don't know if it was like very clear to everyone, but in the background, some of the Pikes kind of looked like they had the same face. Like, hold on a minute, you can leave. And I gotta say, it's comedy fucking gold, and it got me. It really got me. Like, hold on, you can do that. But in the middle of this whole like gloating, I'm gonna execute you all sort of thing, the bombs Ahsoka planted all over during her escape go off. Boom, boom, boom. They run. They get the fuck out of there. Ahsoka shows off more of her Jedi training by doing some good shooting, because she was in the war. Let's just keep it fucking real. She was in the war. And they get followed back home by Bo-Katan, who showed up last episode. And that is when they land, she just kind of barges her way into Trace and Rafa's hangar home, and just like, yo, Ahsoka, no, peace. I know that's a rare thing for a Mandalorian. Death Watch is gone. I need your help. You got 5 minutes. I'm gonna be in the ship. And Trace and Rafa basically tell her like, yeah, you can go do this. We understand. You're still our friend. You always have a home here. All that wholesome goodness that makes you get a warm feeling in your chest. And that was the episode of Together Again. That's what it's called. God damn. I liked it. It was a good episode. It was the first it's strange to say this. It was the first episode in all of the seventh season that didn't feel tight. And when I say tight, I don't mean concise. I mean, like, it didn't feel like it was short. And that's great. And I think I figured out why it kept feeling short all the time. It was a simple fact that Star Wars The Clone Wars used to do one of two things throughout the entirety of its run, including this Netflix produced season 6. One of two things would happen. There would either be two teams doing different things that would all kind of come back together in the end, or it would set itself up in like different stages. If you understand what I'm saying. And what I mean by that is that sure everybody's together doing a single thing, but it would be like a plan, and it would involve like let me think. It would involve several different and instances of them doing things. Like there would be a part A, B, C, and this episode didn't have a part A, B, C type of structure, but it had the two teams coming back together at the end sort of structure. And the last several episodes of actually since season 7 started hasn't had either of those, and it's just been one team just like cutting through shit to get to the end goal, and it never really felt like it felt like a short story rather than an episode of a show. Which, if you've ever read a short story, I know sometimes they aren't always short, but that you get what I'm saying with that, and that I don't know, for some reason just made it feel shorter. But this is definitely a return to form, and I loved it. And it very closely signifies that the Mandalore arc is starting. So get your fucking popcorn ready for next week, and don't miss a goddamn second of it, because I can sense that it's gonna get real crazy. But that was it. I know everybody's having a hard time right now with coronavirus, and I know everything's scary and freaky, and I like just keep calm and stay inside. It's gonna be all right. The best thing that we can do right now is chill out and watch some Star Wars. So I thank you so much for joining me today, and I will see you all next time.